Every 2 years, Americans vote to reshape Congress. The president is not on the ballot, but the future of Washington often is. One election can change who writes laws. One election can determine who controls investigations. One election can decide the direction of the country's economy, taxes, and foreign policy. This possibility is often described as a political wave. When Democrats gain a large number of seats, it is known as a blue wave. When Republicans make similar gains, it is called a red wave. Political waves have changed American history many times. Some elections have completely shifted the balance of power in Washington. Others have reinforced the party already in control. The House of Representatives is designed to reflect public opinion quickly. Every House seat is contested every 2 years. The Senate operates differently. Only about 1/3 of Senate seats are contested in each election. Because of this structure, winning control of the Senate is often more difficult. A party can win millions of additional votes nationwide and still fail to gain a Senate majority. Control of Congress is rarely determined by national popularity alone. Instead, a relatively small number of competitive races often decide the outcome. Candidates spend months campaigning in these battleground districts and states. Television advertisements increase. Campaign spending reaches record levels. Political organizations invest billions of dollars trying to influence a handful of closely contested races. Modern elections have become data-driven operations. Campaigns analyze voter behavior with remarkable precision. Polling firms measure public opinion almost every week. Political strategists constantly adjust their messaging based on changing voter sentiment. Economic conditions often become the most important issue. Inflation affects household budgets. Interest rates influence mortgages and business investment. Employment numbers shape confidence in the economy. When voters feel financially secure, they are often more supportive of the governing party. When economic uncertainty grows, many seek political change. History shows that the president's party often loses congressional seats during midterm elections. This pattern has repeated for decades. Political scientists have offered several explanations. Some believe voters use midterms to balance presidential power. Others argue enthusiasm declines among supporters of the party already in the White House. Opposition voters are often more motivated to participate. Turnout becomes one of the most important factors in every election. A small change in voter participation can decide an entire congressional district. Young voters frequently influence close races. Older Americans continue to vote at some of the highest rates. Independent voters often become the deciding bloc. Neither major party can consistently win without attracting independent support. Public opinion can change rapidly. Major legislation can reshape voter priorities. Economic reports can influence confidence. International events can suddenly dominate campaign debates. Immigration remains a significant political issue. Healthcare continues to divide policymakers. Taxes remain central to nearly every campaign. Public safety is debated in communities across the country. Each issue affects different groups of voters in different ways. Political campaigns attempt to connect these concerns to everyday life. The party that succeeds often gains an important advantage on election day. Political advertising reaches its highest levels during competitive elections. Television remains important. Digital platforms now reach millions of voters every day. Campaigns compete for attention across social media, streaming services, and online news. Fundraising has become one of the defining features of modern American politics. Candidates spend years building financial support. Political action committees invest millions of dollars into key races. Outside organizations also shape public opinion through advertising and voter outreach. The House of Representatives is especially sensitive to national political trends. A shift of only a few seats can determine which party controls the chamber. The Senate follows a different path. Because senators serve 6-year terms, control changes more gradually. Individual Senate races often receive national attention. Candidates in competitive states attract enormous financial support. Some races become the focus of the entire country. Polls attempt to predict these contests. Some polls accurately reflect voter opinion. Others fail to capture late changes in public sentiment. Polling has improved over time. Yet every election reminds analysts that predictions are never guarantees. Undecided voters remain difficult to measure. Many make their final decision during the last days before voting. Unexpected events can quickly reshape public opinion. Economic announcements may influence confidence. Supreme Court decisions may energize supporters from both parties. International conflicts can suddenly dominate political discussion. Natural disasters sometimes change campaign priorities. Candidates must respond quickly to changing events. Presidential approval ratings often influence congressional races. A popular president may help candidates from the same party. An unpopular president may motivate opposition voters. Still, congressional elections remain local contests. Candidates are judged by their own campaigns, their records, and the concerns of their communities. Urban districts often vote differently than rural districts. Suburban communities frequently become the most competitive battlegrounds. Population growth has changed the political map. Some states have gained congressional seats. Others have lost representation after the census. Redistricting also influences elections. New district boundaries can reshape political competition for years. Demographic changes continue to affect voting patterns. Growing metropolitan areas have become increasingly important. Younger populations bring different priorities. Older voters continue to remain one of the most reliable voting groups. Education levels, income, and occupation all influence political preferences. No single issue determines every election. Each voter weighs different concerns before casting a ballot. Some prioritize the economy. Others focus on healthcare. Some consider immigration their highest priority. Others emphasize taxes, education, national security, or public safety. Successful campaigns understand these differences. They tailor their message to specific communities. They identify persuadable voters. They encourage supporters to vote early whenever possible. Early voting has expanded across many states. Mail-in voting has also become more common. Supporters of both parties increasingly use these options. Election officials continue working to ensure ballots are counted according to state law. Public confidence in election administration remains an important issue. Both parties closely monitor the voting process. Observers watch closely for accuracy and transparency. Regardless of political affiliation, confidence in the electoral process remains essential to democracy.